Okay, try to imagine a city that was already ancient when Rome was just being founded. A place where life is this vibrant, chaotic celebration right on the banks of a holy river. And just a few feet away, you have the sacred fires of public cremation. That place is Varanasi. And it's built on this profound, almost dizzying paradox, where the sacred and the chaotic, they aren't just coexisting, they're basically the same thing. And this is a feeling that so many visitors have. It's just completely surreal. You're on the ghats, these huge stairways leading down to the river Ganga, and you see this bustling, colorful chaos of daily life all around you. But then, at the very same time, you can see smoke rising from the burning ghats, where death isn't hidden away. It's embraced as this sacred public release. It's these two realms, life and death, happening side by side that really, truly define Varanasi.
So, that leads us to the big question, right? How does a city this ancient manage to navigate its super tumultuous future? In this explainer, we're going to dive into that tension between Varanasi's sacred identity and the relentless pressures of our modern world. All right, so first, we really have to get our heads around the city's core paradoxes. Varanasi's entire identity is built on these powerful and sometimes pretty startling contradictions that you can find in its names, its geography, its very soul. You can see this dual nature right in its names. On the one hand, it's known as Kashi, the city of light. For thousands of years, it's been this brilliant center for learning and spiritual wisdom. But it's also known as Mahashmashana, the great cremation ground. This is a place where dying is believed to bring moksha, ultimate freedom from the whole cycle of rebirth. So you've got light and darkness, life and death. This paradox is just woven right into its identity.
And this whole paradox thing, it's not just some abstract idea. It's literally carved into the landscape. The actual geography of Varanasi creates this unique spiritual ecosystem, where you find the divine in the earth and the water itself.
And at the heart of it all is the river Ganga. Now, what's so incredible here is that along its entire 2,500-kilometer journey, it's only in Varanasi that the river just defies its natural course and flows north, forming this perfect crescent shape. Geologically, okay, it's a natural levee, but symbolically, it's seen as the crescent moon on the forehead of Lord Shiva. Here, even the geography is divine.
And lining this sacred crescent are the ghats. But you got to understand, these are so much more than just steps to the water. They are the spiritual and social arteries of Varanasi. They are the stage for everything, from morning prayers and people doing laundry to these incredibly intricate ceremonies and, of course, those ever-present fires of cremation. And we're not just talking about a few key spots here. Along a single 6.5-kilometer stretch of the riverfront, there are 84 major ghats. Just try to picture that. An unbroken chain of sacred space, a continuous landscape where the entire life of the city meets the holy river.
Now, out of all those 84, 5 are considered the most sacred. They're called the Panchatirthis. And what's really extraordinary is that they aren't just random spots. Pilgrims actually see them as being mapped directly onto the body of the god Vishnu. So, Asi is the head, Dashashvamedha is the chest, and so on, which basically turns the entire riverfront into this physical manifestation of the divine.
This idea of cycles isn't just a spiritual one, it's deeply historical. In fact, the story of Varanasi's most famous temple is a perfect example of the city's own cycle of destruction and rebirth, which mirrors the very beliefs it's built on.
We're talking about the Kashi Vishwanath Temple. It's dedicated to Shiva as the Lord of the universe, and it's one of the 12 Jyotirlingas, which are, the most powerful and sacred representations of Shiva in all of India. Its really turbulent history is pretty much the story of Varanasi itself. Just look at this timeline. It shows this incredible cycle of resilience. The temple gets demolished in 1194, it's rebuilt almost 4 centuries later, only to be demolished again in 1669 by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. And get this, he built a mosque right on top of its ruins. Then, in 1780, the Maratha queen Ahilyabai Holkar defiantly built the temple we see today right next to it. This whole cycle of being erased and then renewed continues even now, with that massive corridor project that finished up in 2021. It's a story of constant destruction and just unwavering renewal.
So that brings us right up to today. Varanasi is now facing what is maybe its greatest challenge yet. How do you forge a modern future for one of the world's most ancient cities without losing the very soul that makes it so sacred?
And this huge effort is all wrapped up in something called the Varanasi Master Plan 2031. It's a direct shot at confronting the city's age-old problems. The overcrowding, the poor sanitation, the crumbling infrastructure, with a vision for modern transport, new jobs, and better housing, all while trying to protect its priceless heritage.
And the projects themselves are kind of paradoxical. You have the super careful restoration of ancient sacred ponds, known as Kunds, happening right alongside the construction of a modern urban ropeway system to fly people over the traffic. It's this fascinating mix of ancient preservation and 21st century ambition.
But the most visible, and probably most controversial, of all these projects is the Kashi Vishwanath Corridor. For centuries, the path to the temple was this dense, almost impossible maze of tiny little lanes. Well, this massive project cleared a huge, wide, open path directly from the river to the temple. The whole goal was to make access easier for millions of pilgrims and just revitalize the city's sacred heart.
And the impact on tourism, it has been absolutely staggering. Since it opened in late 2021, the temple has seen, get this, 100 million visitors. That is a massive influx that is fundamentally reshaping the experience of this ancient holy site for better and for worse.
So, what do we take away from all of this? What's the ultimate lesson we can learn from a city like Kashi, a city that just seems to defy time itself? I think, at the end of the day, the lesson of Varanasi is about holding opposites in this constant, dynamic tension. The city doesn't solve its paradoxes, it thrives within them. It is the city of light and the great cremation ground. It's an ancient spiritual center and a modernizing metropolis. Its very existence proves that these forces don't have to cancel each other out.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In our world, which is so obsessed with progress and always leaving the past behind, what can we learn from a city that has survived for millennia? Not by choosing one thing or the other, but by mastering the art of being both at the exact same time.